Yeah, you're right.
So you want it completely defunded?
I think to have a socialistic broadcaster reminds me of the old style Russian Federation where they used to do that. And it's brainwashing, it's anti-Semitic, it's appeasing the jihadists. Apart from that, it's
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting in 1 minute. So if you want to move nearer, let's have a better chance of hearing. I know this is all we have. The ABC didn't provide acoustics, and Tim Williams hasn't shown up. So if you all just come a bit closer, you will be able to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, so Grace Home, you all know, globalising the Intifada on several occasions.
Testing. Hello.
What the ABC drives. No relation to
Good morning. Please come forward just so that you can hear. Come forward. Can you hear now? No? Funded by the ABC. Can you hear it all or not? No? Okay, well I'll talk very loudly. Does that work? Okay. Good morning everybody. Thank you. Good morning everybody. Thank you. Come forward if you can. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today at the Australian Bias Corporation, where truth doesn't prevail. Let us say this all together today. We pay for news, not activism. We pay for facts, not activism. Accuracy is not optional, it's mandatory. We call on the ABC to hear us today. Again, journalists are not political activists. They are to tell the story from both sides. So once again, folks, let's say, we pay for news, not activism. This morning, thank you so much for coming out in the cold. My name is Dean. I'll be your MC. Today we have a few guests that will speak to you. We have Omid Rockney from Rise from Iran, Rabbi Daniel Rabin, Shane Shmuel from the AJA, Jasmine Navabi, who is an Iranian patriot, Jamie Hyams from AJAC, and Mina, who is an Iranian Australian activist. Thank you so much to everybody for coming today. Friends, fellow Australians, members of the Jewish community, members of the Persian and Iranian community, and everybody else here today. To those of us who the truth matters, thank you for being here. We are not here to demand propaganda from the ABC. We are not here to demand one-sided reporting. We are not here to ask the ABC to become pro-Israel, pro-Iran, or pro-any government. We are here to demand something simple, something much cleaner and something far more important for us and our children. We are here to demand that the ABC, our national public broadcaster, tells the truth.
Yes.
The whole truth, fully, fairly, accurately, and without activism or bias. Because when the ABC reports on Gaza, Israel, Hamas, hostages, Iran, the Iranian regime, missiles, terrorism, executions, civilian deaths and war, it is not reporting on abstract concepts on the other side of the world. It is reporting on your family, your history, our trauma. Okay. It is reporting on communities here in Australia who are carrying these burdens, wounds every day. To the Jewish community here today and across Australia, your grief deserves honesty. Your fear deserves honesty. You should
Sounds like it is.
Your fear does deserve honesty. Your history deserves honesty. October the 7th must never be softened or erased. Hostages must never be forgotten, and rape must never be turned into a debating point on a national broadcaster. Terrorism must never be dressed up as political resistance. Anti-Semitism must never be treated as a political inconvenience. Anti-Semitism is anti-Semitism. To the Persian and Iranian community, your stories deserve honesty too. The Iranian people are not the Iranian regime. The women who cried women, life and freedom are not the bad ones. The families who fled prisons, executions, morality police, censorship and religious dictators are not the regime that continues to oppress people. We all know what propaganda looks like. You know what state lies look like. Well, we don't want to see them coming out of our national publicly funded broadcaster. And to the wider Australian public, you deserve your taxpayer dollars to tell the truth. You pay for every dollar of the $1.3 billion that goes into the ABC annually. You deserve the facts before someone's feelings, evidence before ideology, context before political slogans, journalism before activism. And let us be really clear, this is not an attack on journalists. This is the defense of real journalism, because real journalism matters. It saves democracies and changes regimes. It gets rid of dictators and mobs. It gets rid of propaganda. But journalism is not choosing the conclusion first and then writing the narrative. It is telling the truth and the discipline of telling the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable or complicated. And when we say the ABC has failed, we're not just talking about hurt feelings, we're talking about real living examples. The ABC's own ombudsman has repeatedly found that Gaza timelines and stories have breached their accuracy standards, yet they do nothing. They leave out material about Hamas firing rockets first and only tell the retaliatory story as though Israel is the perpetrator. And because it's then inaccurately presented in international courts, we hear stories that are not true. The ABC also reported the false claim that 14,000 babies in Gaza would die in 48 hours, even though the United Nations said it wasn't true. ABC News continually breaches accuracy and correction standards. Planet America also breached accuracy standards after relying on the same false narrative. This is what happens when emotion enters the editorial space ahead of facts and verification. The ABC's Triple J hack program described Palestinians released in exchange for Israeli hostages as just political prisoners. The program later acknowledged they were wrong. They were terrorists. And those released included people connected to terrorism and violence. Australians deserve a public broadcaster that uses correct, precise language, not moral laundering. We all remember the hospital explosion, where early ABC coverage attributed the blast to an Israeli airstrike before the real responsibility was established. ABC later quietly corrected material that blamed Israel. The Ombudsman found no breach. How is that possible? The truth matters. In war, premature certainty and false reporting can do incredible damage to people. We remember the ABC using material describing rockets, Hamas firing rockets towards Tel Aviv, as a show of resistance. It is an act of war. The Ombudsman again found no breach, but Jewish families in Australia should never see rockets aimed at their family. We remember an ABC interview where the ABC's new hire today, Grace Tame, referred to allegations where Grace Tame referred to allegations about rape and sexual violence against Israeli women on October 7 as propaganda that had been debunked. Jewish Australians should never, ever have to hear that the sexual violence of October 7 is treated as some sort of debate to be had on public money. And to our Persian friends and Iranian friends, we remember too the Iranian Australians protesting outside the ABC over their concerns about inaccurate reporting. These examples matter because they reveal a pattern in this broadcaster, this publicly funded broadcaster. Missing context, loaded language, premature blame, corrections quietly after the damage is done. Hostages and victims fading into the background like they didn't matter and their story didn't exist. Rape is rape. Jewish grief is not to be treated as politically inconvenient. Iranian suffering flattened into a geopolitical footnote is not what we want from a public broadcaster. The ABC's own editorial principles say impartiality separates journalism from activism. Well, why don't they live it? The ABC must provide accurate, fair and unbiased information from a range of perspectives. So today we say to the ABC, live your own standards. Do not preach impartiality, practice it. Do not claim independence, prove it. But do not demand public trust, earn it. Earn it every day in telling the truth in every news bulletin. Again, thank you for being here today. We will continue to fight to hold the ABC to the public standards that we should expect from a government taxpayer-funded journalism supposed organisation. Thank you.
Defund the ABC!
Defund the ABC!
Yes. Shame on the ABC for hiring Grace Tame. Up next, I'd like to introduce Omid Rokni from Rise for Iran. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let me be on behalf of Iranian, Australian community, not just from my group. It was about 3 months ago. It was an article in ABC. And they put MEK's leader as alternative beside King Reza Pahlavi in Iran. And I'm here to say, you cannot hide yourself behind lie and put a wall of lie and hide everything behind that. We all know that MEK is a terrorist group. They has been recognized and announced as a terrorist group. And how come you are supporting them? I know you are hearing us, and I know you are not listening, but I'm here to tell you, wake up. Time has come, and people understand. And you cannot hide real news and the truth behind what you want.
Sack the lot of them! Sack them!
On 17th and 18th January, more than 45,000 Iranian people has been massacred in Iran. And this is just a formal and official numbers. And it's been more than that. More than 60,000 people has been massacred. And about 500,000 people been injured in only 2 days. Where are you? And what did you do? Nothing.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
People are waking up, and we are here to give you some points and hints. This is not like before. If you see survey here in regards to election and something like that, you can see even Australian community and Australian people are thinking differently because you did differently. And you try to say something which is not correct and which is not true. Tell the truth to people. When you are putting a terrorist group leader beside King Reza Pahlavi, who is leader of this transition, the Lion and Sun revolution in Iran, which their popularity is less than 1% according to the last survey, which I'm not sure if it's 1%, it means that you are supporting something differently. Tell the truth, and I'm telling you, just listen to me. People has been killed. They lost their life when they said Javid Shah, and when they said supported King of Iran to bring him back home.
Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah!
Javid Shah!
Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah!
And not just us. We, Iranian and Israeli, we are fighting together. We are always together and supporting each other because we know the truth. You cannot hide the truth and you cannot tell lies. We are always supporting each other until the time and until the day, which is victory of Iranian people inside of Iran, because the head of the snake and octopus is in Iran. And we all know, once we finish the job, the whole region, Middle East, the whole world, and even Australia will live in peace and a better and lighter life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! King Reza Pahlavi! 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 ABC, shame on you! Shame on you! ABC, 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 shame on you!
ABC!
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 Shame on you!
How about some support for Pauline Hanson, who they bag, who sticks up for all of us?
Thank you, Amit. Next up, we've got Rabbi Daniel Rabin. Please come forward. Welcome him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and well done to everyone for coming out here this afternoon. And the truth is, I know all of us here have a lot of more important and better things to be doing with our day. But the reason many have asked me, why have we come out here today? I personally have sent a number of complaints through the ABC's channels when I see biased reporting, when I see that they are sharing facts which actually are not even checked, and they're making it seem as if this is, undisputed fact, and they don't respond. And this has been going on for 2.5 years, and so many in the community, in the Jewish community, in the Persian community, have voiced their concerns to me, as if I as a rabbi have any say in the matter. And eventually I think it's led to this point where we think we have to come here, we have to make some type of protest to say that this is unacceptable. I spend so much of my time in a beautiful position leading community to live and practice their beautiful Jewish faith here in Australia. I spend a lot of my time trying to build social cohesion, spreading messages of kindness and love and togetherness. And then you have our very own national broadcaster, which is being paid by the taxpayer, by all of us, sharing information which, I'm not a journalist, but even a basic objective look at things, you can see that they are just putting things which seems completely biased. You see interviews where they may interview the Israeli ambassador, and it's almost like an incredible interrogation, rightly so. But then they'll have others on the show, on different news programs, who will say things, and then you think to yourself, surely they've fact-checked this, surely they've asked for a shred of evidence to allow this person to say these things, and there's nothing. And the danger of all of this, and I think why I've decided to come today to share my voice, is because we know the impact of this. Innocent youngsters turn on their social media, they see headlines, they watch just for a couple of minutes, and they make their decisions of how they understand communities here in Australia based on these facts, or so-called facts, based on these headlines, which you can see are not at all accurate. And they walk away and they say, well, Israel is the Jewish state, this is the Jewish community, and we are rightly connected. And I would have no issue if they wanted to report about Israel if it was accurate, if it was honest, if it didn't make up stories, if it didn't just accept people saying things without actually asking them, well, where's your evidence that you're saying this? But and so it's important that we as the community say, yes, it's great to have a national broadcaster, but if it's going to be undermining the very thing that all of us here are trying to build, a community which is together, which has a very strong social cohesion, then what are we doing? And our government has to take responsibility as well. They're paying for it, obviously through the taxpayer, but there needs to be accountability. I hope and I pray that this gathering today will have someone in a position that's listening and says, hold on a minute, maybe they're telling us facts which we need to listen to. Maybe they're saying things which are accurate. Maybe they're saying things which they're feeling it as the communities that are facing so much hate. And so thank you for coming out today. Share your voice, speak loudly. Don't allow a national broadcaster just to be able to do things without accountability. And these signs say it all. Report facts, not ideology. Take accountability. We're not saying you don't deserve to tell a story, but if you're telling the story, it has to be that you listen to both sides. It has to be that you ask for evidence, because if you don't, you're destroying our beautiful society, and we're not going to let that happen. So well done to everyone for coming. Let your voice count, and whoever may be listening in this building or whoever may watch any of the broadcasts of what's going on today, please listen to us. We're not trying to cause trouble. We're not trying to be troublemakers. I can assure you, as I said in the beginning, everyone here wants to just do their job, wants to spend time with their families, to go have coffee, but here they are standing in front of ABC building. I certainly have a lot more better things to do in my day, but I'm not going to allow a national broadcaster to disrupt our community, to cause danger for our community, to cause hate to spread through our community. So well done, and hopefully somebody listens.
One of the few rabbis who leave. Only rabbi here. They should all be here.
Thank you. And next, very briefly, we'll have everybody's friend, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate that 12 o'clock on a cold Tuesday is not the most convenient time, but we have all been complaining about the ABC's bias and inaccuracy for 20 years. So if it means that we turn up on an inconvenient cold Tuesday to have our voices heard, then that is what we have done, and I really am grateful to you. Now, we have all seen those confronting images of emaciated babies and are in no way downplaying the sadness and suffering of families whose children have serious genetic diseases that causes malnutrition. But they must not be weaponised to support a false narrative of famine and mass starvation. The more serious the accusation, the higher the evidentiary threshold must be. The threshold has not merely gone unmet, the evidence repeatedly collapses under scrutiny. Of course, an active war and Hamas looting the aid trucks did cause hunger and food shortages, and that is really, really distressing. But the rush to blame Israel when Hamas started the war, perpetuated the war by not returning the hostages or ceding power, that seems to escape the notice of the ABC. To be the scientific definition of famine, Gaza City would have required to have around 2,400 starvation deaths per month. Yet Hamas's own Ministry of Health data showed only 167 malnutrition-related deaths of babies, and the total malnutrition death rate across the entire 2.5-year conflict was 98% below the famine threshold. Why have we heard nothing but famine from the ABC?
Liars!
Absolutely. Just when you think it couldn't get worse and that they appoint activists and not journalists, we get Miss Globalised the Intifada herself appointed to the news team.
Shame! Shame time! Shame time!
UN surveys later recorded an acute malnutrition rate of 5.4%. Wars are not ideal situations, and those with serious comorbidities will be most vulnerable. Of course, the war and Hamas's systematic looting and hoarding of aid caused hunger and hardship. We don't make light of that. The Palestinian Authority itself publicly condemned Hamas-affiliated gangs for stealing aid and even murdering civilians trying to access food. These facts were almost entirely absent from ABC reporting.
Shame!
By presenting a simplified, ideology-driven narrative, Israel induced famine while ignoring Hamas's central role. The ABC created a distorted moral outrage. That outrage did not stay in the realm of foreign policy debate. It provided a foundation for the targeting of the Australian Jewish community and contributed to the unprecedented surge in anti-Semitism and social disharmony we witnessed in Melbourne and Sydney. And when Hamas is let off the hook, Israel is demonised. You're not just rewarding terrorism, you're incentivising the next terror attack against Israel and Jews.
Shame!
Disgrace.
Accuracy in journalism is not merely a professional standard. It is a matter of social safety. When our national broadcaster chooses ideology over evidence, innocent civilians pay the price. We are here today calling for honesty, balance, and basic journalistic integrity from the ABC.
Sack the chairman! Sack the chairman!
Sack the chairman!
Top down, bottom up, it's all rotten.
Thank you, Sharon. Next we have Michael Bird and Shane Schmill from AJA.
My name is Michael Bird. I'm just going to read out a media statement that Robert Gregory, President of the AJA, Australian Jewish Association, put out today. I'll just read it straight from his media statement. Robert says, "At first I thought the ABC announcement was a joke. I simply could not believe that Australia's public broadcaster could be so tone deaf. Not long after the Bondi attack, Grace Tame publicly called to globalise the Intifada. The Intifada was a period of bloody terrorist attacks against Jewish civilians in Israel.
Shame.
Just months ago, Tame dismissed reports of sexual violence committed against Israeli women on October the 7th. She described it as propaganda.
Shame.
She falsely claimed they had been debunked despite extensive evidence. Investigations documenting those crimes. Tame was condemned across the political spectrum and has publicly complained about difficulties obtaining speaking engagements
What a joke.
following her comments. But it appears that nothing is too outrageous for the ABC. The question Australians should be asking is simple. With so many talented and respected people available, why did the ABC choose Grace Tame?
Shame.
This decision demonstrates a profound lack of judgment and a disregard for the concerns of many Australians, particularly within the Jewish community.
Any woman here.
It reinforces the growing perception that ABC management is increasingly out of touch with the communities it is supposed to serve. ABC would have been aware of the distress this decision would cause to many Australians, and it therefore seems designed to generate controversy. The incident further underscores the need for the ABC to be called before the Royal Commission into anti-Semitism, as the coalition has advocated. More broadly, it again raises the question of why Australian taxpayers are compelled to fund a national broadcaster whose decisions and content many Australians find deeply objectionable. Thank you.
And this is the same ABC who refuses to adopt the IRA definition of anti-Semitism because it exposes their anti-Zionist framings, which they've helped normalise. Anti-Zionism is just anti-Semitism or Jew hatred wrapped in a blanket. ABC has developed an ideological habit, and Israel and Jews sit within that, as well as the Iranian community. Take their reporting of the Gaza war. When the Al-Ali hospital was bombed on the 17th of October 2023, the ABC jumped on the Gaza Health Ministry report that an Israeli strike killed 500 and injured hundreds more. When evidence emerged of a failed Islamic Jihad strike, the ABC was in denial. Hamas has used hospitals for command and control centres, tunnel access and weapons storage, sheltering fighters, hostage holding and launching or coordinating attacks. Human Rights Watch concluded that an Israeli strike was unlikely, but the ABC helped frame the lies that Israel attacks hospitals, kills babies, but ignore the full context, and this fits within the Hamas narrative helping fuel the anti-Semitism crisis we have here in Australia. They were even called out on ABC TV at Bondi by the niece of one of the victims, and they didn't edit it because it was live. ABC has failed its duty of care. They have been negligent, not just to Australians, but also to the truth. It has become a media piece for anti-Semites and propaganda.
Thank you, Michael and Shane. Next we have Jasmine Navabi, the Iranian patriot. Thanks, Jasmine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. We are gathered outside the ABC because we believe the public broadcaster have a responsibility to uphold the highest standards of journalism: accuracy, fairness, balance, and accountability. We are here because we believe that the journalism matters. We believe that when Australians fund a national broadcaster, we deserve reporting that informs the public rather than shaping a political narrative. They deserve facts, context, honest coverage of important world events. Today I want to speak specifically about Iran. For many years, millions of Iranians have risked everything to stand against oppression, corruption, violence, and dictatorship. Many have lost their lives. Many have been imprisoned, tortured, forced to exile. Yet too often the voices of ordinary Iranians have been overlooked, misunderstood, or misrepresented to the international coverage. The people of Iran are not Islamic Republic regime. The IRGC does not represent the Iranian nation. The regime does not represent the hopes, dreams, and the aspirations of millions of Iranians, men and women, who want freedom, democracy, human rights, and a future free from fear. We ask Australian media outlets to make that distinction clear. Stand with people of Iran. Give a voice to the Iranian people, not the regime and the supporters of the regime that oppress them. Stop whitewashing the IRGC and stop presenting the regime's narratives as a fruit who speaks of an entire nation. Many Iranian Australians have spent years raising awareness about the reality of what is happening inside of Iran. Reports have been documented and concerns about intimidation of challenges they face when speaking out. The Iranian diaspora in Australia deserves to be heard. Our families are there. Our loved ones are there. Our future is tied to what happens in Iran. When reporting in Iran, journalists must listen to the voices of those who have experienced the consequences of the regime firsthand. There have also been many concerns raised about inaccurate and incomplete reporting regarding the Lion and Sun movement and the border revolution taking place among Iranians inside and outside of Iran. Many people feel that the scale of the public opposition to the regime and the diversity of the voices calling for change have not always been properly reflected in the media coverage. Today, across Iran and throughout the Iranian diaspora, one name is being chanted by many people calling for change, calling Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, Javid Shah. Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! The role of journalism is not to decide who the Iranian people should support. The role of journalism is to accurately report what the Iranian people are saying and chanting and risking their lives. That is what fairness looks like. That is what balance looks like. That is what public trust requires. We are not asking for a special treatment. We are asking for equal treatment. We are asking for honest reporting. We are asking for the voices of ordinary Iranians to be heard. Today, we all stand for accountability. We stand for truth. We stand for journalism. And we all always stand together until we win.
Javid Shah! Javid Shah! King Reza Pahlavi!
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 ABC, shame on you!
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 Javid
Shah!
Javid Ayande
Iran!
Ayande
Iran!
Thank you. 2 to go. We're almost there, folks. Thank you so much. Next we have Jamie Hyams from AJAC. Please come forward, Jamie. Thank you very much. So let's talk about who the ABC has as their senior foreign correspondents at the moment. You've got John Lyons, who went to Israel and made documentaries lying about the way Israel treats Palestinian children. Apparently it's a sin for Israel to arrest Palestinian children throwing rocks at cars. We're allowed to do it here. Every other country in the world does it, but Australia can't do it. And then he writes books about... Israel can't do it, thank you. And then he writes books about the supposed nefarious influence of the Jewish lobby on the press here. Very close to anti-Semitism, isn't it? And then we've got Laura Tingle, who's the senior foreign editor now, who says apparently that the Bondi attack had nothing to do with religion. And these are the people that we're relying on for our foreign coverage from our independent ABC. And the ABC is so independent that they won't adopt the IRA definition of anti-Semitism. It's good enough for our government. It's good enough for 45 Western governments. It's good enough for all sorts of organisations. The European Union, even the UN has adopted the IRA definition. But the ABC won't adopt it because they're independent. Well, they certainly weren't independent of our government when our government shamefully decided that the West Bank and Gaza should henceforth be called the occupied Palestinian territories. They certainly adopted that one very quickly. They say they don't want to adopt the IRA definition because it's a bit controversial, because people say it stops legitimate criticism of Israel. Well, the IRA definition specifically says that if you criticise Israel the way you would criticise every other country, it's not anti-Semitism. So please explain why you need to criticise Israel in a way that you wouldn't criticise any other country.
They're Jew haters, that's why!
So we all know that this continued demonisation of Israel, this continued demonisation of the Jewish state, leads to the continued demonisation of the Jewish people. The ABC needs to show some responsibility for that. Now, the ABC, which might surprise some of you, has a code of conduct. It has editorial guidelines. But you look at these editorial guidelines and there's more wriggle room than there is guideline. So they don't need to provide balance, they don't need to be fair, they need to provide balance over time. So what does balance over time mean? It means if they have 10 guests slagging off at Israel on various programs, they can point to one obscure Radio National program after midnight and say, there, we provided the alternate. They can have all sorts of guests saying all sorts of untrue things about Israel because their code of conduct doesn't cover what guests might say, because that's their opinion. It only covers what the journalists say. So there's all sorts of wriggle room there. And what we've found in making complaints
is the way their independent complaints procedure works is they go to the journalist that told the story, that made the report, and if the journalist acknowledges that there might have been a mistake of fact, then they'll put a correction, they'll put something on their website. And if the journalist denies it, then they say, no, nothing to see here. So good luck getting a correction on any story that John Lyons or Laura Tingle do. So that is our ABC. That is our taxpayer-funded ABC. They're a disgrace. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. And we now have Mina, who is an Iranian-Australian activist. Mina here? Maybe not? No? Okay. You want to come forward? That's okay?
Can I fill in if I may?
Yes, mate. You want to do? Okay. This is not Mina.
More Harrier for Mina. First of all, I have to appreciate this ancient unity between two nations, Jews and Persians. We are both facing a kleptocratic, it's a bit hard for me to pronounce, and bloodthirsty dictatorship. Hopefully soon enough we will overcome. Here's a statement I want to read for you. Statement by Iranian Australian community groups regarding ABC's coverage of Iran and the Middle East. We, members of the Iranian Australian community and affiliated organizations, express our deep concern regarding what we believe to be a wrong imbalance in the ABC's coverage of Iran and broader Middle Eastern affairs. For many years, Iranian Australians have watched with increasing frustration as perspectives sympathetic to the Islamic Republic of Iran and its original allies have often received significant attention. While the voices of ordinary Iranians, victims of state repression, and those who have suffered, it does not work for me, have suffered under Islamist extremism have remained underrepresented. The recent ABC News Instagram video concerning Iran has further intensified these concerns. Once again, audiences were presented with narratives that many within the Iranian community believe fail to adequately reflect the life realities of millions of Iranians who continue to endure political repression, censorship, economic hardship, arbitrary detention, and systematic human rights abuses under Islamic Republic. Many members of the Iranian diaspora did not leave Iran by choice. They were forced to flee because of persecutions, lack of political freedom, economic collapse, religious discrimination, or fear for their personal safety. Today, millions of Iranians live outside their homeland. As a direct consequence of policies and actions of the Islamic Republic, their experiences deserve to be heard and represented with the same seriousness afforded to other communities affected by conflict and oppression. Many Iranian Australians have lost family members, friends, and loved ones to state violence, political imprisonment, terrorism, war, and ideological extremism. For these reasons, we strongly object to any reporting that appears to minimize, sanitize, or insufficiently scrutinize the actions and narratives of the Islamic Republic and its affiliated organizations. We are equally concerned by broader patterns of reporting relating to regional conflicts, including the war in Gaza. While robust scrutiny of all parties is an essential function of journalism, many Iranian Australians perceive a disproportionate focus on Israelis' actions while receiving comparatively limited coverage of Hamas's atrocities. the use of civilian infrastructure for military purposes, the openly extremist rhetoric of terrorist organizations, and the central role played by the Iranian regime is funding, arming, and supporting armed groups across the region. Public broadcasters have responsibility to present complex issues with balanced context. Intellectual honesty journalism should inform audiences rather than reinforce ideological narratives.
Not be a mouthpiece for Al Jazeera.
Exactly. We therefore call upon the ABC to conduct a comprehensive review of its editorial approach to reporting on Iran and Middle Eastern affairs. Ensure the reporting concerning the Islamic Republic of Iran, including appropriate context regarding the regime's human rights record, regional activities, and support for designated terrorist organizations. Provide greater representation to Iranian Australian voices, particularly those who have directly experienced persecution under the Islamic Republic. Apply equal scrutiny to all actors involved in the regional conflict and strengthen public confidence by demonstrating a continued commitment to balanced, evidence-based, and impartial journalism. As Iranian Australians, we believe that fair and accurate reporting matters. We will continue to advocate for the voices of those whose experiences have too often been overlooked, marginalized, or misunderstood. Long live the King, Javid Shah.
Javid Shah!
Thank you everybody again for coming today. We just want to say a few final words to the ABC. Every innocent life matters. Every Israeli civilian matters. Every Palestinian matters. Every Iranian dissident matters. Every Jewish family matters. Every peaceful Muslim matters. Every Christian, secular, and minority family matters. But honest compassion requires honest reporting. You cannot build peace and social cohesion on distortion of the facts. To the good journalists that are up there at ABC right now, who still believe in fairness, accuracy, and courage, Australia needs you now. We respect you. We want you to succeed. But you have to stand up now. To the activists in the ABC with microphones, understand this. The ABC will never belong to you. It belongs to Australians. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It will never belong to the loudest voice on social media. So as a sign of solidarity as we close today, folks, I ask each of you to line up along here with your signs as we chant shame on the ABC, and every staff member will see. Shame on you, ABC! Shame! Shame on the ABC!
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
We pay for news, not your activism! We want journalists to be journalists, not activists. Thank you everybody for coming, and have a great day. This is just the start of much, much more.
You didn't want to give me a minute. I'll see you, mate. My son started lying to die. I understand, mate. Because of this. I called for this 2 years ago. 2 years ago. You've got to give me 3 minutes. We have a pre-approved list.
For the ABC and for the rest of the world, the struggle is happening in Iran has a message for you. This is not a protest. This is a revolution. 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 We are Iranians. We've been fighting with the godless
For the last 47 years, for the 1,393 years indeed, how come you blood washing for a regime persecuting, executing innocent people? How come you are supporting them? If you are ABC, we are WXYZ. You started, we will finish it. Javid! Javid! Javid!
Okay, so that's today's coverage of the speeches here. As before, I was just walking around, getting some footages, recording some videos. Hope everyone has a nice day. And Javid Shah, I'm Israel Kai.